Welcome back to the stream, everybody. I'm 40 Lines, joined alongside Flea, and we are going to have Spart1e CNZ, but it's lower bracket action, Flea. How weird is that?
Yeah, absolutely, because we've seen Spart1e do pretty well so far, taking down Cooler, dropping him out of the tournament even, and then Garpy had such a strong showing against even Rafa, widely considered to be the greatest player in the world, on that first map, Ruins, but then he dropped it on Corrupted Keep quite massively, so this is the last lifeline for both of these players.
Yep, tournament life on the line for both of them. Always added pressure. That's why the lower bracket is so dangerous, especially as these killers are piling up. In terms of the picks, bans, we got Ruins, Awoken, Deep Embrace, and then Spart1e's going to be able to play Strog, Ranger, and I don't even know the third one because I can't read. But Sorlag Visor Nyx for CNZ, as I'll figure out that last one. As we go along. We might not even get to a third map. We'll see. In terms of predictions, I feel like Spart1e versus CNZ is kind of that battle of play styles where CNZ is much more calculated. As you've mentioned before, he plays a lot more like his teammate Base recently. Base is so good at playing hyper defensive, although Kilson did kind of overcome that earlier. We saw on the A stream. We'll see if Spart1e can kind of have that hyper aggression he might need to overcome CNZ's defense.
Yeah, absolutely. That's the big question, right? CNZ, incredibly strong defensive and composed player, really powerful mental game, can always keep his composure no matter what happens. We've seen terrible, terrible accidents happen to him, and he still managed to keep his cool and play out the rest of the map. So for Spart1e, not exactly what I would call an emotional player, but probably a little more susceptible to, the tilt than his opponent is, right? So he's really going to have to stick to his guns and find a way to break the defensive stronghold that is CNZ. Now, based on his performance so far, his aim against Cooler, his rails were absolutely on point, so those are probably going to be instrumental in a possible victory.
Yeah, if Spart1e's popping off on rails, there's nothing else like it. I know Railson is on a league of his own, if you will, but Spart1e's just as good, I'd say, on his prime rail shooting day. It is a sight to see. We'll see if we're going to get that Spart1e, though. Again, this is going to be best of 3, and the loser has to go home. This is going to be end of the line for whoever can't make it out of this set, so do or die, Flea. And you hate to see it, but that's the nature of the game as we chop on down to the top 8, getting closer and closer.
Absolutely, and it looks like we are about to load into the map for the people just joining us. This is map 1. It will be Ruins of Sarnath, Spart1e running the Strog and Peaker versus CNZ on the Sorlag. So two pretty mobile champions, a lot of speed, one the crouch sliding, the other with the air control, and then of course the Peaker. We saw what the Hang was able to do with his earlier, and there's a lot of damage that can rival the spit and the toxicity that Sorlag can produce.
Yeah, we actually saw this matchup earlier on the A stream between Rafa and Garpy. I think the same picks, same map. We'll see how it plays out. If it's going to be a little bit of the same, again, players vastly different in their play styles and their approaches to the game, but this one should be good. Whether we go to all 3 or not, I'm not really sure. This one's a little bit too close to call for me.
Yeah, this is the difficult one. Very often there's like some player that you can be like, this guy is probably going to be able to take it, but this time around I really wouldn't know who to pick based on their performances. If Garpy can play the way he played on Ruins, he has a really good chance, and he might even be the favorite based on how close he held it against Rafa. But then the second map, Corrupted Keep, was, I don't want to say disastrous, but it was, he didn't even want to talk about it on Twitter. When he made a tweet, he was like, let's not think about Corrupted Keep. And indeed, no thinking about that map as we're loading into Ruins, kicking things off with the boy Spart1e on Strog.
Peaker comes out to play early here, almost getting a big chunk of that dinosaur there. CNZ does have the spits, so Spart1e has to be careful if he wants to push, but the LG comes out. Spart1e wants a piece of that dinosaur right now.
Definitely doesn't seem like Spart1e wants to go along with CNZ's plan of making this a slow, calculated game. Instantly aggressive. Just immediately trying to get up close and personal with Sorlag to do some damage, but now he's actually caught in a pretty bad spot. Spit behind him. There's going to be damage over time if he steps on that, waits it out, but then misses the final shot. If he would have gone for the shotgun, he would have gotten the frag, 40.
Yeah, suspect weapon switch. Just believe in yourself, Spart1e. He was so close.
Yeah.
And there it is, the Peaker. When in doubt, whip your peeker out. 1-1 ties it up. 1 minute in, Flea. This might be some fast-paced action here. Both of these champs, the ability to be mobile, very high on both of them. Chat, make some noise. Meatballs in the chat if you're a fan of Spart1e. If not, glasses maybe for CNZ. I'm not really sure.
Gotta give it up for the Mayo, man. Spart1e, of course, sticking to the high ground, but he doesn't have rockets, and this is an awkward angle for LG, and he will indeed drop down. CNZ holding his own nicely. Now, trying to stop Spart1e from running into this Mega, will indeed manage to do so. Both items are tied up perfectly, so neither player will be able to collect both and start a solid rotation or fundamental levels of control. Will be both players on comparative stacks. No one able to really manifest themselves just yet.
Yeah, and that fight over the Mega was so crucial as CNZ was down to 25 HP, just throwing rockets towards Spart1e's direction, praying that he didn't push, and he didn't, so he survives. He has a base stack now that's decent. He's going to grab another Mega as the items are traded, and I'd say advantage goes to CNZ simply because of that spit. If he gets up close and personal, the peeker is essentially useless. I don't care how big Spart1e's peeker is. That Sorlag up close with the spit is just absolutely destructive.
That's the first time I've heard someone talk about Spart1e speaker that way, but you know, that's just how it goes.
I may be in the minority, Flea. I don't know.
We're doing it live. As both players closing in on the Mega, definitely the better weapon choice for CNZ. Nullifies the gains from the Mega pickup completely. As he's now roaming around the map, making use of that air control. Needs to land this shot. Indeed, it does connect. One more will take down Spart1e, but he will have to go through the peeker first. Can he find the shot? No, who actually eats a rocket for his trouble, and that puts Spart1e in a really good position to maybe even hang on to the Mega and start something here. He's even going to do more than that, landing the clutch rail before making his way over to the heavy. It seems like Spart1e not comfortable sticking around the Mega, probably expecting his opponent to spawn more towards that side of the map, so he just ran straight for heavy.
Such good damage from Spart1e there. He should be able to finish it, and the shotgun indeed hits its mark. And Spart1e will take the lead 3-2. The party is slowly starting here, Flea.
Yes, indeed. Spart1e revving his engines, floating around the map. CNZ again.
Wow.
Yeah, caught by surprise. That's one of the big risks when you're playing a champion capable of going fast forward. There comes a point where you're just letting the speed dictate what you do, and you're just flying around the map, jumping around corners blindly, and then all it takes is Spart1e landing one good rocket to completely destabilize and throw you off. Can he land the shot? A little bit more will do it. Peeker comes out. Will it connect? He's gonna give up, and it's actually CNZ who figures out his position and punishes him for whipping out that Peeker so careless.
How dare you, Spart1e? Is not allowed in public, says CNZ. Spart1e will grab the outer 50 shard. That'll put him just out of rail range for the time being. He still wants more. Almost getting the tip of that dinosaur, but Spart1e needs weaponry. He doesn't have LG, he doesn't have rockets. He does make his way over to the rockets, but he's going to sit on the Mega for a little bit. Hopefully he realizes it's not up soon, and this is really, really bad for Spart1e as he just has to fight with rail up close. He's getting a lot of damage out of it. Almost hits a third, but CNZ capitalizes in just a slight bit odd that he didn't pick up the rockets. He had the opportunity there.
And indeed, Spart1e doesn't even need any weapons for it. All he had was the starting shotgun and the nail gun, but that peeker flying up above. Don't even think that CNZ had railgun at that point. So when you get up that high, there is nothing that can do consistent damage to that little robot, the nimble little drone. And that did. How much damage did he do? That was close to 100 damage on Sorlag with the peeker blaster alone.
CNZ's so weak again. He needs to push, and Spart1e eats a whole face full of acid. That'll push him down so he can grab a health bubble, but CNZ can't go for the Mega quite yet. He has to delay. Does finally get it. His items are traded again, but it feels like that's the third time where we've seen CNZ on his last limb somehow surviving to grab the Mega, as Spart1e's doing a great job of keeping him extremely weak.
Spart1e definitely making some mistakes and giving CNZ too much room to breathe though. Like, dropping down over at Mega right there, Mega was about to spawn 2 seconds later, and instead Spart1e dropped down, went for a small health bubble to get rid of the spit, and in doing so he let CNZ secure the major item. If he had stuck with it, he would now have full control and might have been able to get another frag on the board. So CNZ is definitely being given some opportunities by Spart1e. But of course, the Swede, he needs at least one more frag. Both players are tied up perfectly 4-4 with 4 minutes left.
Spart1e getting through the telly here. CNZ, no armor to his name. Does have the spit. Mega's going to be first. Spart1e needs to make his way over there here. He's been giving up the Mega for free quite a bit as he's getting out Mega'd 9-3. But conversely, I mean, for the heavy, he's been out picking up the heavy 9-4. He does get in on that Mega as the players decide to swap items now, trading places a little bit. Spart1e slowing down near that rail. CNZ hears him from up above, delivers a rocket, and says, hello, I'm up here.
And this is indeed such a close game, both players having secured the same amount of major items, 13 apiece. And everything else is very nicely tied to a small damage advantage for Spart1e, who might actually secure a frag. CNZ caught completely with the wrong weapon in hand. Rushing in so aggressively, this is dangerous for both players, and it ends up being a trade that is going to favor Spart1e. Although it is CNZ who gets the better weapon pickups from the get-go.
CNZ coming in like a wrecking ball. It's a fantastic rail. Spart1e needs to be careful, but he gets so much mileage out of that machine gun. That heavy machine gun, so brutal, just tearing up that dinosaur. Spart1e somehow makes it work, grabs the heavy. He's going to be a little bit late on the Mega, but CNZ can't land the rail, and Spart1e just keeps punishing with that machine gun.
Spart1e's playing a risky game, though. Yes, he's punishing with the machine gun, but that's only working out so nicely because CNZ is missing his rails, and finally, the Estonian player connects another shot. It's already looking a bit less rose-colored for Spart1e. The Swede, though, knowing, I believe, CNZ actually did have a railgun.
Wow,
doesn't matter.
Spart1e going in, making it work. As you were saying, it was all about CNZ not hitting his shot. Spart1e doesn't make that mistake. He capitalizes, but now he's getting crazy, and CNZ off the spawn will be able to take that refrag.
I feel like the spit might have had something to do with that. Hang on, is Spart1e going to drop another frag? Just barely hanging on with 6 points of health. Really close right there. Does manage to survive. But now, with 90 seconds left, Spart1e, I hope, for his sake at least, that he plays this a bit more passively. Because look at that monstrous stack that CNZ has collected. Both of the major items on a big, thick champion like Sorlag. Spart1e 20 points of health. A flutter of damage is all it will take to take him down, and indeed CNZ does find him. 5 seconds before the heavy spawn, reads the spawn as well. Spart1e, this is dangerous. The shotgun will have to come through clutch, and it won't. CNZ tying it up with a minute to go, 40.
Just that brief pause at rail, and knowing that once he saw him and Spart1e saw, oh no, and he gets caught out at eyeball again, and CNZ takes the frag. That brief stutter step at rail where they met and they locked eyes, and CNZ just read it perfectly, knew he was going to go telly, and just look at what happens in the blink of an eye. CNZ takes the lead, 30 seconds left. He's so stacked, and this looks so bad for Spart1e right now.
Spart1e, I feel like he could have done more to hang on to that lead, 40. Just a bit too careless in those final few minutes. He had a 2-point lead. And then with what, 90 seconds left to go? Just kind of running around the map, perhaps a little too carelessly. Not enough caution or mind paid to his opponent's position. And CNZ capitalizing on that beautifully to ultimately secure map 1, but this was an extremely close one. Could have absolutely gone either way, and I'm excited to see map 2.
Yeah, so close. It feels like Spart1e just let it get right out of reach near the end there. CNZ stringing together 3 kills and just making it rain, taking the 1 frag lead and the map. I think we're going to head over to Awoken. I believe it's going to be Ranger Visors going to be the setup for this one, and it was just too close. It came down to 1 or 2 plays. It was a bit of a slugfight off the spawn because of that Sorlag play. CNZ just fearless going in, again with the spit and the machine gun or starting shotgun. You can get a lot of damage out quickly. It's going to be very back and forth, I imagine, on Awoken as well.
Yeah, CNZ definitely showing that he doesn't have to play that slow reactive game, right? He absolutely came out swinging. Yes, it was still mainly Spart1e to initiate, at least in the opening minutes of the game, but then afterwards it was CNZ exerting a lot of pressure, constantly pressuring Spart1e. Even if he was somewhat out of control, CNZ did show up to try and do damage, landing some good shots here and there, and ultimately Spart1e just let it slip away. He had a decent lead, but then a little too careless, allowing his opponent, the B100 player from Estonia, to make his way back into the game. And then, of course, that final fumble for the over at the eyeball, getting caught in a really bad spot. You know that CNZ is going to make the most of that.
Absolutely, as he takes the one map advantage here. Again, best of 3, lower bracket action is the party for Spart1e coming to an end, Flea. I think chat prays that that's not the case. We might be able to see a third map here, but Spart1e's going to have to pull off some magic.
Chat, show some love. I want to see some Spart1e hug emotes. Make it happen. Give him your energy. Because let's see if he will stay with us in this tournament or whether it is CNZ who manages to pull himself up by the bootstraps and continue on through the lower brackets.
Yep, this might be it here. Clean sweep 2-0 would send Spart1e packing, maybe with a shot of vodka, who knows, but CNZ is looking to keep himself alive in the lower bracket, and he wants to do it as easily as possible. A 2-0 would look really great for the Estonian player here. Third map is always sketchy, Flea. You never want to give your opponent any kind of in.
Yep.
So CNZ looking to finish this one off rather quickly, as we're going to get into Awoken ever so slightly here, just waiting. Yep, there it is. I hear the sound. Don't worry. We'll get there, chat. It's going to be Ranger versus Visor. This could be the last map of the set. CNZ versus Spart1e. Let's get into it.
Starting it off, Spart1e's point of view. Spart1e, of course, if you're just tuning in, is the one who lost the previous map, and what a close series it was. Opening with a mistrail. Luckily for him, he's got the orb available, and that is some quick thinking by the Swede, knowing that even if he misses that shot, he's got that escape route at the ready. Of course, CNZ playing Visor, unable to follow him through that doorway. LG on LG, CNZ has got the better stack, but Spart1e, more resources to stack back up, but he's on the wrong side of the map to pressure the items. Hang on, spoke too soon. 1 rail, 2. Can't be hit. The third, and indeed, going once, going twice, and sold to the Swede who's making the party happen. CNZ should drop down once more as the shotgun pains him to death.
Oh, and there ain't no party like a Spart1e party, because a Spart1e party don't stop. There's a decent rocket there. The Spart1e has to fend off this oncoming attack from CNZ. Surely he won't drop. A little bit of LG from around the corner won't land. Spart1e sparing himself the trouble, doesn't want to take that fight, gets away. 50 shard in his pocket, but the rocket, oh, he gets popped off. What a trade from Spart1e. That is so unfortunate for CNZ right there.
That's a tricky ledge, 40. Mark my words. You don't see it that often in the Pro League, but it is a very tricksy position to hold. Spart1e again using that orb defensively as a way out rather than to apply pressure or deal damage. Hang on. Teleporter will be used. Spart1e not ready for it. CNZ plowing on through. Spart1e still has a lead. Heavy's about to spawn. He's got the better position, but he is lacking weapons. Probably shouldn't make the drop. Little careless with the jump right there. Does secure Mega. Heavy is still up. CNZ didn't pick up Heavy. Is he even aware that he doesn't have the item? Okay, he has finally tracked back to Heavy. I think I don't know. It looked so strange for him to run all the way back to go through the teleporter and then be like, hang on a moment. I don't have Heavy.
Wait a minute. Yeah. Oh, good rocket into LG. The Dire Orb won't save Spart1e's life, and now with that delay, be it on purpose or not, CNZ can run the map. This is a free Mega. Spart1e's a little bit too early on the Heavy, and he realizes he needs to get out of there. There's the rocket jump, but the double back from Spart1e might actually get it. No! Oh, the LG float. It almost happened again. We've seen it once before. It's so dangerous. Spart1e's so weak, though. Full item control from CNZ. He catches him out near the drive-through window. Spart1e can't land the rails, and CNZ gets a relatively clean kill off of that. He does need a little bit more LG, but Spart1e, relentless in his aggression, rockets to the shotgun. He wants to get that refrag immediately, and he does. We're tied at 4.
Spart1e has been making really good use of the starting shotgun, and that's not something that you usually see at this level. Often players will go for the starting machine gun because it allows you to do that consistent damage at long range even if you don't have a railgun. Yes, it's not much, but at least you can kind of pepper your opponent with some pieces of damage. But Spart1e resolutely going for the starting shotgun, and it's working out for him, as is this engagement with the rocket. Spart1e once again putting himself in the lead, knowing very well that Ranger, due to his passive ability, takes less self-damage from his own rockets, so he can get up nice and comfy, cuddle with you while barraging you with rockets, but CNZ holding his own. Good shotty, again tied up. 40, this is a brawl, and what a rocket to shotty! Beautiful.
That was gorgeous. Used the vision, took sweet, sweet advantage of that situation. Rocket to shotgun combo, picture perfect from CNZ. Takes back the lead, but you're absolutely right. Spart1e's not afraid to get up close and personal because of that Ranger passive. Traditionally used more for rocket jumping, but Spart1e's like, you know what? It's always a party. I'm going to get up close and personal. Splash damage does not deter me, but it can only get him so far. As the CNZ looking to slow this down, he's going to pick up the heavy. Tri-bolt to the face as Spart1e tries to get an exit rail. CNZ needs to be careful of that jump pad. Little bit of splash damage there.
Both players.
Vision's going to be up.
Yeah, Vision is indeed going to up in just a second. Spart1e doesn't have his orb though. Both players have been making really good use of their ability 40. Sometimes you see matches where the ability is just, you know, it's auxiliary. It's there to help, but nothing really more. This time around though, we see so many clever orbs from Spart1e to get out free, to do damage, get up close, and CNZ is making really good use of the piercing sight. Doesn't even need it in that situation. Spart1e jumping across the map, exposing his backside, and CNZ is going to pounce on that at a moment's notice.
A really good play from Spart1e there to get in and out on the heavy, using that dire orb to get straight up to rail so he could fight, but unfortunately he's not landing the rails like he needs to. 32% rail, shooting 25 in comparison to CNZ's 9. The shotgun isn't going to be enough. No, CNZ needs to try and double back to this Mega. Spart1e knows that it's up. There's the rocket jump, misses with the rail. Vision pop from CNZ as he plays defensive and tries to stay alive. It looks like Spart1e won't have an angle, so CNZ will survive for the time being. Here's the fight over the heavy. Spart1e with a great rocket, 71 HP after the health pickup, and CNZ escapes again.
I was so hoping to see Spart1e orb through the teleport and then go off the bounce pad. CNZ was absolutely not ready for that. But Spart1e did just take the teleporter as normal. Perhaps a bit risky to go around. Now he secures himself the small armor, and that is the strength of Ranger 40. Spart1e was really weak and still managed to rocket jump over to the resources.
Wow.
As damage is being exchanged, Spart1e hanging in there. Secures the heavy as well. Such a close game.
I know this is just such a fist fight right now, Fleet. Back and forth, Spart1e keeping the tempo up. CNZ not afraid to match said tempo. He is slowing down right now, trying to find a way in past the banana. There's the rockets, there's the LG, the dire orb back onto the platform, and that's going to be his death as he wanted to steal away that Mega, but the timing was a little bit off.
Yep, slight miss time. I like the idea. It would have worked if he had gotten the timing right, but he fell just short. Fraction of a second too soon. Nice vertical rail. Can he land another? Yes, indeed he can. Spart1e, will he find even more damage? CNZ stuck between a rock and a hard place, but Spart1e lacking the weapons to really take advantage of this. No rockets, no LG. All he's got to work with is the rail, and this is such a difficult angle. Will find one more shot. Can he finish it off with the starting shotgun? Is he going to stick around for this one? He wants to, but he will still back off. Knows that it's so risky, and will indeed just go for Mega. No! Why?
What?
I was gonna say, surely he's not going to still go for the orb. Too much time has passed. I knew it went through the window.
Spart1e, why? Oh, he's down 2 now, still plenty of time, but such a big misstep there from the Swede after the dance with the devil. Didn't land him the frag. Just peeking over and over from that ledge, can't find the damage. CNZ, 2 frags up now, trying to slow things down, and that'll be one for the history books, Flea.
I felt that one, 40. The moment he fired the orb, I was like, are you sure you're going to be able to get to Mega on time? Spart1e was sure. Unfortunately for him, he was very surely wrong, as he just yeets himself off the map into the cold, watery depths of Awoken, giving CNZ yet another opportunity to clean this one up in a fresh 2-0.
2 minutes left. Spart1e needs to pull out some magic. And yeah, I can't imagine. He orbed through the window down by the drive-thru?
No, he was up at Railgun, and then he jumped
Oh.
over to Mega, and he orbed because he wanted to pick up Mega and then orb back for Heavy as well. But he, like, it just flew way on by. Yeah, off the map. So
Good night, Sweet Prince. As the Rocket to LG combo could be strong, there's a Dire Orb for Misdirection. It's going to let him live for a little bit longer as the Rocket jump out from CNZ. So clutch. 6 HP afterwards. He is extremely weak, but at this point, he just wants to buy time, Flea. He's up 2 frags, a minute 20 left.
definitely still possible for Spart1e. He's got the advantage, he's got the item timings, he's got the weapons as well. 2 minutes in a minute, or 2 frags in 1 minute rather. Definitely doable. Awoken, not the largest of maps, and you've got that Ranger Orb, which can help out tremendously. He's going to find CNZ, 40 damage on that first rocket. He needs more though. Spart1e, he knows that Mega is about to spawn, will still go for it.
That was a huge time for Vision to be popped, so CNZ could take the appropriate path and stay away from Spart1e. He doesn't want to give any opportunity for the Swede to get back into this. CNZ's just going to kneel, try and eat out the clock. There is a Dire Orb through the telly, but CNZ just too quick, taking the sewer route, and again, he's going to play super slow, take a knee, and just absolutely eat up all this clock. 30 seconds left. Spart1e. The lights are dimming. It's closing time, Flea. It looks like the party has come to an end.
Spart1e just misread that orb. He thought that CNZ would stay up at the top level with the LG, in which case that would have been the perfect play. But unfortunately for him, CNZ just didn't hesitate even for a fraction of a second and jumped straight down to the heavy machine gun, allowing him to just evade all of Spart1e's efforts. And with just seconds left on the clock, both of these players know it is indeed over. Spart1e, oh my god, he is going to be regretting that orb, going for the Jesus rather than the GG. I mean, it kind of fits, but that is heartbreaking, 40. That breaks you.
If you're a Spart1e fan, I mean, especially if you're Spart1e, you're upset. If you're a Spart1e fan, you're upset. I mean, the party has come to an end, unfortunately, for our boy. But props to CNZ, man. Taking that first map was huge. Cleans it up with the second. 2-0 for CNZ. He survives to fight another day. So shouts to CNZ. We could see that kind of dark horse run through the bracket, Flea.
Yeah.
Let's not sleep on CNZ. He's done it before. He could do it again. Slowly but surely through each set. If he keeps winning, he's going to get up there.
Absolutely. We saw it. Quake World Championship, Stage 4 final. CNZ just out of absolutely nowhere, taking down some of the biggest names in the business after having to fight his relegation match even. So this man could absolutely go far. But for Spart1e, unfortunately, the mayonnaise man, the party animal, it ends here. He had an impressive run, taking down Cooler, one of the best players, one of the biggest legends of the scene. So he has absolutely nothing to be embarrassed about. Well played, Spart1e.
Yeah, the big shouts to Spart1e. F's in the chat. I mean, it's always a party when he's around, so it's a shame that he drops, but all the more props to CNZ for being able to take it 2-0. Spart1e, you know, looking more and more on point throughout the weeks in QPL, so it's a shame. It's a shame, Flea, but we're going to get out of here, and you guys stick around for more Quake action. It's going to be a jam-packed day.